Hey, everybody! What is happening, world? Hey, thanks everybody for joining me. Dave Sitzler here for another show, and I'm so glad that you've joined me. Um, really was debating a lot of different topics today because we've kind of been all over the board. We've talked about everything from politics to um, how to handle or how to choose the right opportunity, how to avoid shiny object syndrome. Um, and today I wanted to talk about something. You know, it's hard. This is kind of a hard topic to talk about because I don't want to sound like I'm dissing anybody. Okay, but I found that there's something going on that is really, you've heard me say this before that I detest wasted talent. I detest uh, goodness and love that are wasted. To me, there's so much to do and so little time to do it in this life that to take any time and waste it, it just grates me. And so in my life, I don't wait around for, what day it is to dictate what I do. To me, I work every day because I love to work, not because I have to, not because I have this feeling of guilt, or not because it's some kind of onerous thing. But I love to work because I know that the worst thing that can happen to you in your life is that you have regrets. Because you will not regret taking a chance and failing. You will not regret that. You will regret not taking a chance. And that's why, when Monday morning rolls around, I'm excited for Monday morning because for me, Monday morning is the time when everybody else is going to jump back into the game. See, I never left the game because I work every Saturday, I work every Sunday, and like I said, I enjoy working. So it's not something that, is a problem, but a lot of people, they can't wait to check out on Friday, and they spend their time really, they waste their time, on the weekends. And I just refuse to do that. I don't know. I don't think I was always like this. I mean, there was a time when I was uh, very interested, in my wife and I in being at the right party or being, at this obligation or at that obligation. And we've just gotten to a point where it just doesn't mean the same thing to us anymore. I think we realize that, um, when you're little or when your kids are little, it seems like there's a certain stasis there that you're going to be raising kids forever. But honestly, it goes really, really fast. And my youngest is going off to college, and it's not really freaking me out. I mean, I realize that it's going to be a big change, but it is kind of interesting when you think about how fast it really went by. And I don't know if that's why I'm like this, um, but I really am a believer in making the best use of your time. And I'm not talking about not having fun. I'm talking about deciding what's really fun in this world. And I can tell you this, going to bars and hanging out, it just isn't fun. And for me, even, I'll tell you what, I love to play music. But I would much rather, if I go out to see a band, I mostly am seeing that band to kind of think about things that I might do, as opposed to really liking to go be an observer or be somebody that is not a participant, but somebody that is passive in the situation. So I love to be up on stage playing the music as opposed to being the person sitting there watching it. Not that I don't appreciate a lot of artists. In fact, I try to challenge myself to pick new artists, even though I'm a big fan of the Beatles and the Stones and the Who and David Bowie and Bob Dylan and Led Zeppelin, and I'm a classic rock guy. But I also like Alabama Shakes, and I like Dave Matthews, and I like in fact, I have multiple genres of music that I like too. I grew up really in the funk era, and I love Parliament, and I love you know all the old school Sly and the Family Stone and all kinds of bands like that, the Ohio Players and stuff like that. So I have a pretty eclectic base of music that I like, but I tend to be more of a rocker and like everything from all kinds of different genres, but I tend to stay more in that. But I try to tell myself that, look, just because the Stones or the Who or the Beatles did it doesn't mean that there isn't something great to listen to out there now. And I try to challenge myself to listen to new stuff with an open mind. And it's so important to always keep it fresh in your life. And so I have a couple of things that help me to work every day, but not look at it as drudgery, but to actually look at it as a positive thing. And the way I do that is I have a couple of real simple philosophies that I base the rest of my life and the decisions that I make on. And they come down to healthy, wealthy, and wise. Now, we've all heard that, right? We've all heard healthy, wealthy, and wise. But a lot of times I think we look at that in a different light as another thing, right? Another obligation that we have to be, to live up to. But I don't. I look at it as it's my life, and I'm going to make my choices for me and for the people that love me. And really, I've gotten way past worrying about the perception of what others think about it. And so I take time every day. I like to get up in the morning and I like to work. The first thing in my mind, when my mind is fresh and I'm focused, is work. And so I like to work first thing in the morning. But you know what? After a couple hours of working, I generally will go do a workout. And I also meditate every day. Now, I don't do long meditation. I might do only 20 minutes. But I believe that getting your mindset right is very important to making the decisions that make your time well spent, as opposed to wasting your time on things. And so one of the most important things you can do as an entrepreneur now, and I know that a lot of people listening to this are entrepreneurs. They're people that are looking to make money. And the worst thing you can do is squeeze it too tight and focus only on making money. What you have to do is allow the process of your life to believe in that journey and to know what makes you tick. So you've got to really spend some time finding out what makes you tick. For me, I like, doing aerobic sports. I like riding my bike. I do like to go to the gym, but I also like to hike. I like to be in nature. And I change it up. So where I live, I can't ride all year, so I ride when I can ride. I jog when I can jog. I hike when I can hike. I go to the gym when I can't do anything else, and I might swim and I might lift weights, but I try to keep it up and keep it fresh. Now with my work, I try to do the same thing. I try to do videos, do social media marketing. I like to always be challenging myself. And this is one of the things that really makes it fun, is you should have about 20% of your work time should be spent on Skunkworks projects, right? And Skunkworks, we talked a little bit about this before, but those are projects that are new challenges that you're not necessarily ruling in, and you're almost looking at them to rule them out. These are things that you're going to look at from a totally open-minded perspective and try to take those things and maybe create another stream of income. All wealthy people have multiple streams of income. It was very important that you're open-minded. And I had a great thing happen. As most of you know, I have Team 100. I have people that I'm coaching that are wanting to make 100K online, and I'm helping those people, no matter what background, no matter what business they're in, be it MLM, affiliate marketing, whatever. And I'm trying to get people, and that's why we're doing these videos too, is because I want to give a platform for people. And I, again, appreciate your comments, appreciate your criticisms, appreciate you interacting with me, giving me feedback, joining, subscribing to my YouTube channel, joining me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all those things, right? But I want to be able to keep this fresh for you and maybe give you ideas that allow you to have multiple streams of income. And actually what happened to me is one of the people on my team approached me about something brand new, And it ended up being really, really big. And it's going to be I think, absolutely gigantic. And it's in an area that I've never done before. I've mostly always worked in health and in business opportunities online. And this is something that's totally, it's an app, so it's like totally different than what I'm used to doing. But the only reason that I came to that is because I take a portion of my time, and you should too, to just try new stuff, to just experiment with stuff that's totally, off the wall and new. So it's really important to keep it fresh. That also works pretty well in a relationship too. I've been married for 25 years, so I think I know something about this. I should say happily married for 25 years. Um, and the thing about, first of all, the most important thing in any relationship, in terms of a love relationship, and probably true of any kind of relationship, I think, is kindness. And kindness takes on the role of not just being forgiving to a person, but in actually trying to make their life a little more comfortable, a little happier, and doing the little things that make a person feel that kindness, feel the love. And I really believe that you have to do that in a relationship. It can't just be all, nuts and bolts. It really, you have to take, and that's in this whole idea of trying new things 20% of the time is important in that too. You got to go somewhere you haven't been before. Do things that you haven't done before. One of the things that I never really thought when we first got together, my wife and I was always into athletics and I was always training and doing triathlons and stuff like that. And she, absolutely refused. She was one of these lucky people that was like skinny, her whole life and never had to work out. And I was never like that. If I didn't work out, I'd probably, be 350 pounds right now. But she was one of those people that just was naturally thin, so she never felt like she had to work out. But one of these things that we tried was just started walking together. And we did a half marathon together. So we ended up, taking some little Skunkworks project, something like, hey, let's just go for walks together. And it ended up being a pretty cool thing, and it was a pretty cool accomplishment to do a half marathon, especially for somebody like her who had really never, done a lot of athletic stuff as an adult. I think she played sports as a kid, but she'd never really done anything as an adult. So that was really very cool for us. But again, this is part of that keeping it fresh, and this is how I can work 7 days a week without getting burned out. Okay, I love Monday, but I love Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. I'm not going to wait around for a weekend to live. I'm going to live every day the way I want to live, and I'm not going to, let anybody tell me otherwise, because I know what makes me happy. So my question for you today is: do you know what makes you happy? I'm serious. I mean, beyond, simple pleasures. I'm talking about: do you know what really in your heart makes you happy, and are you working towards that? So we're going to talk some more about this down the road, because it's so important for us to be in tune with this desire to want to connect with what our spiritual, emotional, and economic purpose is. And those things are all tied together. So anyway, we actually kept it light today. Isn't that nice? So thank you so much for coming, and get back to me. Let me know. Do you know what really makes you happy? This is Dave. See you next time. I'm out.